Okay.
Hi, Geraldine, welcome back. I mean, before this break, we were talking about the relatable things, highly relatable things. I can easily understand how the culture is important. I mean, like what you mentioned is right because when once I went to a school where my daughter was studying.
Hmm.
The school, one of the teachers, maybe the principal, I think principal was explaining about strength-based education. So
Hmm.
I know then I concentrated on a strength-based nursing and everything. So strength-based education, he put it like this. Same your example, he explained your example. Instead of focusing on the weakest subject, focus on the strongest subject where child is interested in.
Yeah.
So when we start appreciating rather than criticizing on the for the weaker subject, appreciate for the strongest subject. So slowly they did a study also. So that proved that naturally the children developed their weakest subject also when you start giving the appreciation and
Yeah.
focusing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here I see definitely a huge difference, cultural difference, cultural divide between
Hmm.
our country, like India and the Western countries. So, what is
Yeah.
your idea about the cultural difference, Geraldine, in terms of
Yeah.
mental?
I think the Irish culture around mental health for years, it has improved greatly, but it definitely was one of don't talk about it. You're fine. Just move along, keep going. Very much not discussing. We are a great nation. We're very welcoming. We're very friendly, but I think we're probably a nation also that's very can be quite superficial. It takes a while for people to really, really relate in a very honest and open way. We have that saying culturally. You might say to me, okay, how are you, Geraldine, today? And I'd say, I'm grand.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean anything. I could say to you, I'm grand and be going through multiple problems, but we say it without thinking. And some cultures will say, how are you, okay? And they're expecting you to say, well, Geraldine, I've had a terrible day yesterday, or well, day yesterday was bad, but today, thankfully, is a lot better. So culturally, we have a lovely way of saying, well, how are you? But we're not really asking that question.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very superficial, everyday thing that we just say,
Yeah,
and
because
our responses are very, very much on the superficial. We don't really want to get into the reality of what's really happening, do you know?
so I remember when I came in the month of October 2006, it's 19 years ago when I stepped into Ireland. So the next day, my first morning, I mean, evening we arrived, we settled, and next morning they asked us to go for some training and everything. So October morning, it was like very, it's not very dark, it's not very bright also. So
Yeah.
around 7 o'clock, we started walking on the road and people were jogging and they were saying, Hi, how are you? And we got shocked. I never knew that person, but that person was saying, How are
Yeah.
you? And running.
Yeah. Yes.
So it
Yeah.
was something
Yeah.
new, but now we are used with it because anybody would say,
Yeah.
how are you?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they don't even wait to hear you're
Hmm.
good or anything. So that's a thing that cultural differences are there, and there are many. I mean, I mean, in terms of mental health, for example, I would put it like this: in India, when a child, I mean, like teenagers. During the teenage period, there are a lot of restrictions for, especially for our female children in India.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
whereas here, you don't say restrictions, but you just give them all the safety measures. You teach them, you educate them
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
to keep themselves safe and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that culture has to come rather than restricting them, just
Yes.
empowering them. That's what we need
Yeah.
to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But definitely nowadays there are a lot of awareness happening in India, but it's still not enough because
Mhm.
I mean the amount. I mean there are a lot of restrictions. I mean not restrictions. There are a lot of factors which are preventing the spread of mental health awareness and everything,
Yeah,
but at
yeah.
least we are trying to do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, even socioeconomic, the country's economic
Exactly.
well-being will reflect sometimes the nation's ability to look at their mental health problems or not, so it's
Yeah.
really it's multifactorial, you know.
Yeah. And
It's funny,
also, yeah. Yes,
you
sir.
were saying there about culture and about, growing up, and I was going to share with you when I was when I before I started nursing, I worked as a nursing attendant for
Okay.
2 years. And at the time, the culture was I had a permanent job, a pensionable job doing that work, and I was very happy in it. There was nothing wrong with it. And everyone, my parents were delighted that I got a job because it was after I left school.
Mm-hmm.
And there were two nurses working with me. And they kept saying to me, a year later, they kept saying to me, and when are you going to do your nursing journey? And
Mm-hmm.
I kept looking at them as if they were mad, but I'm fine here. No, no, you have to do your nursing. You're so well capable and blah, de blah. So I went home to my mother and I was saying to her, Mum, they were saying at work I should do my nursing. And she said, What? Give up a permanent job? Are you mad? So isn't it funny? Like
Mm-hmm.
her
Yeah.
concern was that I'd lose a permanent job.
Yeah.
And the people at work were saying you need to develop yourself and you could do nursing, and why wouldn't you? And
Exactly.
thankfully I did. And I
Mm.
listened to those two ladies, and I'm forever thankful that they encouraged me because I probably would have stayed because I was quite happy, do you know?
Yeah. No,
So
same
it's funny.
thing. Yeah, same thing. I think one of my colleagues at the moment is doing her teaching job,
Yeah,
teaching to the primary school. You are a nurse, you are well paid, and why do you have to go to teaching? She said it is her passion.
yeah,
It's all something new for me because in India we have no opportunity to change our career or profession during
okay.
middle age, or even
Yes, yeah,
once
yeah,
after the teenage, we go straight to college, and after the
yeah,
college, we go. That is our life deciding
yeah,
years.
yeah,
So afterwards, but whereas my daughter also, she joined for a course and she dropped out, and now she has
yeah,
chosen her career as a teaching or something.
mm,
So it is all possible this side. Even when I came, I mean, early years of being in Ireland, I saw a man who was a taxi driver. He entered into nursing
yeah.
at the age of 45 or something. So
Wow,
it was
yeah,
something new. And I really felt, how is it possible? Why should he come into
yeah,
nursing? But I really appreciate the system here because you welcome anybody to come into any profession. There is no age
yeah,
restrictions, See.
yes, yeah,
But in
yeah.
India, we have age restrictions to go into any job or
Okay.
studies
Okay.
also.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That
Yeah. And
this is also,
also,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. And also, okay, no matter what country you live in, it is really hard. Like on average, people leave, say, secondary school at 17, 18, right?
yeah,
How how would an 18-year-old know what they wanted to do for a career? I think it's almost impossible. No, none of us knew. I didn't know. I actually thought I'd do nursing because I thought, oh, I'll travel. And that was the reason, apart from anything else, I mean, obviously not the only reason, but that was my main reason. So I think it's very difficult to know. And it wasn't until I went into nursing and like working with yourself, I did a lot of research, did a lot of teaching, and I suddenly realized, you know what, I love teaching
yeah.
and I love kind of, putting stuff together and putting articles together. So it's not until you try different things do you realize where your passion lies,
No,
do
I
you know?
appreciate you said it
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
if any of our Indian parents hear this, they will completely object it. I would say out of 100,
Yeah.
at least 98 people
Yeah.
will object it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I am in that 2% of person.
Yeah.
So I could accept. I understand. I left my daughter to decide for her life because
Yeah.
she needs to choose what she wanted.
Yeah.
That is also, see, I don't say I was a good parent or anything, but at least I left
Mhm.
it to her decision.
Yeah, yeah, and
Um,
that's a big risk because as a parent, you want the best for your child. So
Yes.
you're sitting there sweating and thinking, oh my God, she's given up this. What will she do now?
Yeah.
But like you need to trust. And my own nephew, oddly enough, when he did his leaving cert, he wanted to do nursing. And I actively, no, sorry, I tell a lie. He did an arts degree.
Yeah.
And here we go again about culture and beliefs. And he did a year. And unlike you, okay, he came up to me and said, Jordan, I'm not doing it. I don't like it. I'm going to do nursing. And I said, are you out of your mind? You've started it, you need to finish it. And
Yeah.
I was really cross with him and worried about him. And I had to go back and say, oh, Daniel, I'm really sorry. You're right. If it's not working, do something else. And
Yeah.
now he's a psychiatric nurse himself. And it's really funny, you know. But
Good.
I had that old belief. I was doing nearly what my own parents would have done and said. You start something, you finish it. Who
Yeah.
said that? It doesn't make sense, you
Yeah.
know.
You know,
We have to, we need to make
exactly.
choices and we need to find out if things fit or don't, you know?
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So I think, I mean, like our culture is driven by, because you see, it's a kind of survival of the fittest. My next door neighbor, uh, they send their children for medicine, engineering, and high level of profession,
Yeah.
and so that the person will learn more, settle in the life and everything.
Hmm.
Um, uh, I mean, but so that gives me agitation, and I will be pushing my daughter or my
Yeah,
children, you need to do
yeah,
this and that and everything. So that
mm,
is how we are run, because maybe the
yeah,
population is another factor also. You see, somehow we
yeah.
have to settle. But very clearly, my daughter once put it, I'm only surviving, not living. So that touched
Okay.
me really,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
we
Yeah.
we are,
And we all know people who are surviving
yeah,
and not living. And actually a lot of our people who are depressed are
yes,
actually surviving and not living. And they're just going through the motions of
yeah,
life and they do the same thing. It's like Groundhog Day. Get up, go to work, come back, and there's no joy there. There's no passion, there's no enjoyment. And life is meant to be enjoyed, I believe, you know.
exactly.
Yeah.
Geraldine, there are a lot of things we can talk, we can chat and chat. If possible, we'll catch up again another day. So
Sure.
I don't want to disturb you more today. So we'll catch up another day. So definitely, there are a lot of things we will chat about mental health and our experience and everything. Thank you so much,
Sure.
Geraldine.
Yeah.